Hey everyone, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you coming by to check out my content. If you like what you see today, be sure and like and consider subscribing to the channel. Hey, I've been on a quest for a while to find a good 8-inch, 7.8-inch note-taking device that I can take with me when I'm out in the field. So a lot of the 10-inch or 13-inch devices are much too large for that. So I'm walking through, million and a half square foot buildings. Sometimes I need the device in my hand to take notes. Other times I need to be hands-free. And I typically always wear some kind of a safety vest with a pocket on it. And the 10-inch and above devices are just too large for that. So a while back, a few weeks ago, I made a video on the Boox Go Color 7 Gen 2. And, that did, I was pretty satisfied with the way that worked in that particular use case. The handwriting on that device with the active stylus is not that great though. So I really am not going to consider that in the comparison today. Today I wanted to compare two devices. They've been out for a while, but I wanted to compare the Supernote Nomad and the ViWoods AI Paper Mini. And the way that I'm going to compare them, I'm not going to go feature for feature on each one of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the features that the Supernote has that do not exist on the ViWoods AI Paper Mini, and then vice versa, to show you kind of what their strengths are. And then I'm going to pick out what I think the two biggest cons of each one of the devices are and kind of show you those as well. Not recommending one over the other. I'm still trying to decide which one is going to be my miniature device going forward. But let's dig into this and I'll show you what I've listed as the features. So here on the left side, I've got the ViWoods AI Paper Mini, and over here I've got the Supernote Nomad. So, they've got a lot of things in common. They're both great devices, both great note-taking devices. They've got great writing feel. They have, they have strengths and weaknesses on each one of the platforms. But as I said, I wanted to focus on some things that each one of them have strengths where the other one either doesn't have the feature or the feature is just so much better on one of the two devices. So I'm going to start off with the Supernote Nomad, bring this front and center, and talk about what I think some of the features are of this that are just, fantastic, and they just don't exist on the ViWoods. So the organizational features of the Supernote platform are really unrivaled anywhere. And I'm just going to take you through some things really quickly. First, since I'm on this home screen or, I'm looking at my file screen, you can swipe down. Mine is on the left-hand side. I'm left-handed, so I've kind of swapped around. If you've got a Supernote, you may think, well, why does he have his menus on that side? It's because I'm left-handed. But anyway, this quick access menu is really handy. I can put my most frequently and I guess my most frequently used documents over here and access those at any time. I can also access stuff like files and calendars and settings and to-dos and Kindle and Atelier, recent files. I can start a new note. And, it's just a really good feature. It lets you very quickly navigate to really what matters to you and what you use the most frequently. The second feature, an organizational feature, has to do with headings. So sorry about the shadows here, but in the Supernote, you can create headings. I can write a word. I can lasso it. I can create a heading in 4 different styles. I'm going to just say, let's make it the dark on with white, dark background with white handwriting. Now that's a heading that will show up if I look at my overview here. It will show up in my own handwriting as a heading. So think of this as a table of contents. Very powerful feature. If you've got a large multi-page document, this really helps you to be able to navigate through your document. The second organizational feature has to do with stars. So if you've got a word in your document that you want to, be able to recall quickly, you can create a star. If it recognizes your star, it will turn into an official star there. And then if I'm searching through documents here and I'm, using the search functionality, I can say that I want to look for stars and I can search and it'll bring back every document that has a star and tell you how many pages are on there. And I've got 2 pages of starred documents, but here's the one that I just created. It'll take me right back to that page as well. So that's really handy for flagging action items and those types of things. All right, the next feature is keywords. So if you've got a document and you've got certain things that you want to be able to recall in the document or get back to quickly, I can create anything. I'm just going to write the word keyword. I'm going to lasso this, and I'm going to click on the K for keyword. It's going to recognize the text, and now I've got it as a keyword. And once again, if I go back and if I want to search globally across the device, I can do this. I can search for keywords, and I can either put in the keyword or I can just hit search, and it's going to show me anywhere that I've got a keyword, and there is my keyword. All right, this one I'm not going to demonstrate, but when you create a note in Supernote, you have the option to either create a regular note or a real-time recognition note. And if you create a real-time recognition, it is recognizing your handwriting in the background so that when you do a search on handwriting, it finds it much quicker than it would if it had to index that every time. Another organizational feature has to do with taking your text and creating a to-do out of it. So for example, I'm just going to call this to-do. I'm going to highlight it, or I'm sorry, I'm going to lasso it. I'm going to create a task. It's going to recognize it. I can give it a date if I want to. I can say that it's going to be today, confirm, and then add it. And that's going to be in my to-do list that I can find here. You'll see that I've got it in my inbox as to do, and it's dated for today. You can do the same thing with a calendar entry. If I wanted to make this to do here a calendar entry instead, I can do the same thing, make it an event. It'll recognize it. I can give it a date. I'm just going to do it today's date, the current time. And now it's added to the calendar. I can go back to the calendar and look at it on today, and you will see that I've got an event called To Do on there. This is a feature that is really powerful for Supernote, especially for people who are artistic, love to draw. I am not one of those people. I love to draw. It's just that it looks like it makes stick figures look bad. But it's an app called Atelier. And when you go into this app, you have a lot of different tools that you don't have in the regular Notes app. You have different drawing tools. Your palette is different. Just a lot of functionality in Atelier with your strokes, with layers. A lot of features and functionalities in here. I'm the worst person to demo this because I have never used it. Another very powerful feature of the Supernote that has just been added is ink flow. And this is another one that I'm not going to be able to demo on this. I don't have the ability to hook it up to anything, but ink flow allows you to use your tablet as a writing tablet on your computer, which is a very powerful feature, especially once again for artists. Supernote has one of the best, I guess, syncing and sync between devices I think that is out there. For example, if you have more than one Supernote device, say you've got the Manta and the Nomad, you can sync your files on one device and then go to the next device, sync it there, and then everything is just is matched up very well. Also, as part of that, I'll say that the Supernote partner app is also one of the best partner apps that I've seen, and it's very much a pleasure to use. It got a lot of power and functionality in that as well. There's more functionality in the Android app than there is in the iOS or the iPad OS app, which I don't have Android, but they've got a lot of new features in the beta that are pretty exciting. Another unique feature to the Supernote devices, and this is true not only of the Supernote Nomad, it's also the Manta, but the ability to remove this back cover, and I'm not going to do that on the video, but you can remove the back cover, you can add an SD card, you can replace the battery, you can replace the motherboard. Hardware modularity and upgradability it's the only device out there that allows you to do something like that. I mentioned a little while ago the quick access bar, but also the fact that we've got two gesture bars, one on each side, and the gesture that when you swipe down does one thing, which brings up the quick access. When I swipe up, it does a complete refresh to get rid of any ghosting. On the right-hand side for me, it may be left-hand side for you, but I can undo and redo by swiping up and swiping down on that side. Another feature that has recently been added is the ability to add stickers to your notes. And it comes with a bunch of built-in stickers, but you can also, you can hand draw your own stickers. But anyway, you can add them to your notes. You can move it around the page. You can, resize it. You can rotate it. You can do whatever you want to with the stickers. It really adds a little bit of a creative flair to your notes. So those are the features of the Supernote Nomad that are advantages over the ViWoods AI Paper Mini. So now let's take a look at the other device and see what the advantages are of the ViWoods AI Paper Mini over the Supernote Nomad. All right, so I think the most prominent feature that the ViWoods has, on the Mini at least, not on the AI Paper, the 10.65 unit, but on the ViWoods AI Paper Mini, it's got a front light. And boy, let me tell you, this thing is tremendous as far as being able to read. It really makes the screen visible in any light. I've only got this on a brightness of 8. I think it goes up to 20. This thing gets, I'm sorry, yeah, it does go up to 20. This gets really bright. It's probably blowing out my camera right now. But I typically keep it. I know when it came, it was on about a 6 when I first got it. And that's kind of where I keep it. But I tell you, with the front light on, this black and white screen, it's not a Carta 1300. I think it's much older. Maybe Carta 1000, if my memory serves me correct. Somebody will look that up and tell me, I'm sure. But this is a beautiful screen. It's not quite 300 ppi. I think it's 297 ppi, but you'll never be able to tell the difference. Just a beautiful screen here. The next feature that this device has is that we do have a row of buttons across the bottom. You can't see them. They're pretty well integrated into the device. We do have a back button here. We've got a home button here. And then we've got an AI button here. And you have the ability in settings, you can pull down your control center, and you can turn off these buttons if you want to where you can't actually accidentally press them. So that's a really cool feature as well. Another feature of the AI Paper Mini rather, is just how thin and light it is. This is a really, really thin device, especially compared to the Supernote Nomad. As you can see the thickness difference there. Quite a bit of difference between the devices, if you can tell that on the camera. You also see on the ViWoods Mini, the bezels on this, with the exception of the bottom, the chin down here, the bezels are very thin. When you compare that to the Supernote, you do have much more prominent bezels on the Supernote. I mentioned the buttons on the ViWoods device, and one of those buttons is an AI button, and AI is woven throughout this device in a bunch of different features throughout the device, and it's just really well done. It's something you may or may not use. I don't find that I use it a lot, but it's there if I ever wanted to. Another advantage of the ViWoods is the presence of the Google Play Store. You can download and use virtually any app that's available for Android on here. I have found that some apps that will let me install them sometimes won't run. That's very sporadic. I don't find that a whole lot, but I have run into it from time to time. Another feature that I really love, and I just did a video on this about a week ago, talking about the calendar functionality of the ViWoods versus the Boox and the Supernote. The calendar, if you're a handwriter, I'm going to turn the brightness down on this a little bit. If you love to do handwritten notes and calendars, you can do that here. It's tied to a specific date. It really helps you with journaling. You can also do tasks. And then you can also, keep track of notes. Now, this feature Supernote also does, but the handwritten notes and the handwritten tasks are specific to the ViWoods in this particular comparison. So another feature on the ViWoods is the ability to tag a page with a tag, and I can create a tag here. I'm just going to call it tag and confirm. And then it's got, if I were to go back and try to find this particular page again, I can go into my paper, I can search for tags, and then I've got 2 tags here. I can, pop up the one that I just created, and there's the page that I created it on. One other feature specific to this device in this particular comparison is the fact that the ViWoods has a fingerprint sensor for a little added security, where the Supernote Nomad does not have that. When you look at the selection of pens that are available, the ViWoods AI Paper Mini has a total of 7 pens with 5 different thickness levels, 4 different shades of gray or black that you can have. Over here on the Supernote, I've got 3 different pens. I've got pretty much infinite ability to change the thickness of the pens, and then you can save those thicknesses over here, and then you've also got 4 levels of gray or black. But the pen selection on the ViWoods AI Paper Mini is much broader than what you have on the Supernote. All right, a huge advantage that the ViWoods AI Paper Mini has is the ability to integrate with OneNote. They have made some changes in the software to optimize the experience with OneNote so that the latency is pretty low. I'm not going to do a slow motion, but that is a pretty low latency on being able to follow your pen. If you know on other e-ink devices, when you try to use OneNote, with the exception of the Boox devices that have also optimized for OneNote, the latency is horrible in some cases, and you can actually write letters and it won't show up on the screen for several, it feels like a second before it actually shows up on the screen. But this is very well optimized for OneNote. So those are the unique features of each one of the devices where the other one maybe doesn't quite compare as well or doesn't even have the feature. But I wanted to talk about what I think are the 2 biggest cons for each one of the devices. So for the Supernote Nomad, I think the lack of a front light is a huge disadvantage when compared to this device because it really does limit where you can use the device. For the ViWoods, I can use that in any kind of an environment, any kind of a lit or unlit environment where I can't do that with the Supernote Nomad. Then the other disadvantage of the Supernote Nomad, and this is really probably not a biggie, but just how thick and chunky it is. It is not as slim and svelte as the ViWoods AI Paper Mini is. That's just a really sexy device. So for the cons of the ViWoods AI Paper Mini, 2 big ones here. The first is that you can't sync between, if you have both ViWoods devices, you can't sync between the devices, automatically sync between the devices. You can manually sync. You can set up third-party synchronization. For example, I use OneNote. Both of my devices sync to OneNote, and it syncs in proprietary note format if I wanted to restore that to the device and still have the ability to edit the handwriting or modify the handwriting. It also saves it as a PDF file. So really good backup functionality, just no sync between the devices. You have to do all that manually. The second thing is that there's no handwriting recognition. The second thing is that there's no handwriting search on the ViWoods at this time, which puts it at a huge disadvantage. If you take a lot of notes and you don't want to use keywords or some other way of trying to find that information, handwriting search is a disadvantage for the ViWoods. So I think another thing that they have in common that is really cool is that both companies really listen to their community of users, and they're constantly working to improve the devices based on the feedback of the users. I know Supernote has just added a bunch of new features in some recent betas that are really cool. And then ViWoods is kind of famous for each month they come out with an update that's almost like Christmas because you get to see all the new features and stuff that they've added. That is either in some cases bringing parity with other devices, or in some cases it's advancing the device ahead of some other platforms. So I think my conclusion here is that I don't know which one of these is going to be my mini device going forward, the one that I'm going to carry with me. I think it may depend on that platform sync, which is going to favor the Supernote. Is kind of my initial impression here. I do have a lot invested in Supernote as far as I have a ton of notes in Supernote, and the ability to be able to sync those on each one of the devices is really kind of important to me. I may be able to overcome that with the manual sync and just not try to have every file on both devices and just pull over what I need, because the front light is a game changer for me. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Just a fun look at 2 of the mini devices out there that you might make a companion to a larger device, or you may just decide that you want one of these smaller devices as your only device. And either one of these I think would be a great addition to your e-ink arsenal. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.